Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another video here at the channel. It is lovely to see you again. Hope you are having a pleasant day. Hope you do drink a lot of coffee, because why wouldn't you? So in today's video, we are going to try out something a little bit different. I actually want to show my workflow when I do videos like this, or I do some of my review videos. So basically I just want to show you how my workflow are in that situation. And for the recording part of this, most of the tutorials I do, or the videos I do actually, are done inside of this space here, which is super tiny, super small, and there's really no space in here. And I do record those videos with the Blackmagic, we have right here, Blackmagic Cinema Camera 2.5K, which is the old version. And also for my second camera, I have the Pocket Cinema Camera, the original old version. And both of the cameras are just shooting 1080p anyways, or HD. And the main reason that they are doing that is actually because I record all these on the ATEM Mini. And I started out using the Pro for these videos because I can just record out the video source to a Samsung T5 disc, instead of doing what I did before, where I actually used the video assist. I have that right here, you can't see it, but I used the video assist, and that was recording my camera setup. And then I was just exporting those into Davinci, and I did some tweaks and some editing and still. So this is what this video is all about, and I'm just going to take one of the videos I did not that long ago and use that as an example. So without further ado, let's have a look at the workflow I do.
Okay, so obviously the first thing I do is I'm going to import my video, and I do this a little bit different. So I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to use the scene cut detection that are in Davinci Resolve. And I'm just going to let Resolve determine where my cuts are. And I do this because I actually record all this as one large file with two cameras. And then when I'm done, I'm just going to add the cuts into the media pool, and then I'm just going to close that down. And I'll go to the edit page, and then I'm just going to drag down all of my clips here, and I start to do my edit right like this. So I very often choose to use the edit page instead of the cut page, because I think that is easier. And I feel just more at home. So first off, I'm just going to cut down this video here. I'm going to lower my volume, because those are always quite low when I use the ATEM to have less noise in the room I am doing those things. So again, listening to my take here, I think that might be good. Oh, that was the first take, and it was not a super good take, so let's go a little further.
Hello, Klaus here.
I think that should be good. So I'm just going to use Control B and do a cut, and then just going to delete the clip I just now I did. So from here, I'm just going to listen to the video and what I'm saying. And I often do this in pretty fast speed using the L, K, and J buttons, like I'm doing here, just to hear if something is really wrong, like so. Okay, and then I'm just going to, like that. So that is actually how I do the intros, and I cut those pretty fast. So for the next thing I do is I will go in, and I'm going to take my graphics I have here, and I have a lower third graphic I always use, so I'm going to use that again. I'll go into the inspector because I need it to be positioned a little bit different. It's not something I have to do every time, but I tend to do it. And then I'm just listening for the next bit I do. And in this bit I go into my power bins, because in my power bins I use this in all of my clips. I have this piece of video usually I use. I'm just going to drag that in. And I'm listening to where I say the part of subscribing, and I do that. Not the same place, but
Talking about a look at some here.
Like here. I'm just going to zoom in a bit, and then I'm going to cut out this little break I have here because I want it to be a little bit faster.
Here, please consider subscribing.
There.
Please
Okay. I'm just going to use one of my titles here. Sometimes I use my own titles, and sometimes I use the one from RT. It's depend on my mood of the day, but I tend to use this one, and I always change the font to my Tahoma font, and always have to reposition because I changed the font. So I always reposition this graphic, and then I go into the shading elements, go to number 3, and I'm just going to enable that so I have shadows, and then I'm just going to move it to the position where I want it. Something like that.
At some cool gear, please consider.
Yeah, there we have that.
Well, talking about subscribing, in today's video,
Good.
I'll show you how you can create your very own subscriber button.
And then I just check out for things I might want to change. Okay. Again, I'll go into my power bin, and I'll put in my subscriber graphic because this is the video that was about. Yeah, something like that. So after doing all of this, I usually do a recording of the tutorial itself. I have done that already now, so now I'm just going to edit that in. And usually that goes pretty fast. I'm just going to start by finding where the actual tutorial are going to begin. A little back here. And then I'm just going to trim that, and I'm going to push that to the clip that were before that. And that's fine. And then I'm just looking through this video pretty fast, actually. Again, using the J, K, and L buttons if necessary, but normally I just do something like this. Like that. I think that's fine. So for the next part of this, I'm going to throw in my black bars. I use these black bars to cover up the day this thing down in the middle. I don't think it looks very nice, and it's not necessary for people to know when I record all of these videos anyways. Most likely they are done during the night, so I'll do that. And I'm going to drag in my subscriber graphic here, or my end screen graphic, actually. It's also done by my daughter on 10 years old. She did that. So I think it's fun to use that. Then I go for the next portion of the video I do, and that is actually I do a bit of color grading on these videos. I don't do very much actually, because the cameras I use are set on the exact same thing, but usually I'm just playing around with the contrast, the pivot, and again on the temperature, and then also I'm playing around with the color boost and the tint, because the old cameras I use seem to be a little more greenish, and I kind of just removed that way. And then I do like some basic stuff with the lift, camera, and gain, you know, and try to find an image I like, something like. And in reality, I'm just playing around with it actually, and finding a look. I don't have a specific look for the videos. Sometimes and I just want to have fun doing the color grading actually. So I'm not using a preset or anything like that. And then I usually do another note that is Control S or Option S to Alt S. And then I have a little trick to make this shot look a little bit better. So I'm shooting this on a 16mm lens on the cinema camera, the old version. And then what I do to make it a little more, give it a little more depth, is I actually do a mask here, and then I'm just going to blur out the background of the mask. So as you see now, it looks like I have more depth of field, and yeah, usually I will do something like that to make the shot look a little bit better. So next up, I'll go into this tab here, and I'm going to choose selected clips, and I'm going to take the other clip, and then I'll usually try to see if I can match the shots just by eye. So I'll start with the contrast, and again I'll put in a black color where I think it should be, and I have the white here, and that looks crazy bad. So I'm just going to reset that because I didn't like that. And then I'll just, in this case, since it doesn't help me that much, I'm just going to play around with the color grade. Again, I am using the temperature here, and I actually want to make it a little, I want to match the widest shot with the close-up, and I actually like the close-up a little better than the other. So let's see if we can match this up. Again, I'm just doing this by eye, so not thinking too much about reading the scopes and all of that. For a shot like that, I don't do that often, at least. So just, again, this is also a great way to learn how to color grade stuff, just to play around with it. And I do this more or less in every video because I just love playing with the color grade. So for the second shot, I actually do the exact same thing where I want to blur out again the background to make a little more depth. So I will again use a mask, and I draw a shape, and I do this in different ways compared to how the shots are, because my shots are not always the same. And then I'm just going to soften the edges of that as well. Going to go into here and give it a bit of blur. And now I think that looks, let's have a look. They look pretty similar actually. Something like that. Good. And then I'm just going to copy paste my grade, which is actually just to select it and then use the middle mouse button to copy the grade. And I do that for all of them. And here, just the last touch, I just need to change the mask a bit for this shot because my face are in the way. And you know, you could easily put in a couple of keyframes, going to frame, adding the keyframe, and then you just do some basic animations of the mask. It doesn't have to be super great, actually. We can get away with a lot of things because I know this is a super fast clip. And then we'll just do a little bit like so. And, you know, good enough for Jess, I think. So here we have that. And I think that looks pretty okay. Okay, and the next step, I just do a voiceover. I use a Rode condenser mic, and I just record that into my Zoom H6, and I just do that meanwhile watching the screen and then talking about what I did. Sometimes I do record the video or the tutorial part at the same time, but very often I do record the video first and then the audio afterwards. But that's just the way it is, I guess. So after doing that, I am going to go into my drives and I am going to go into my tutorial folder, which is not this one. And I'm just going to go down and this is the voice file. I'm just going to drag that in, actually. And there we have it. I'm just going to, so I'm not going to drag the audio down on audio track 2. Then I'm going to right click on the clip and I'll go into clip attributes. And here I have my clip attributes. I'll go into audio and I tend to make my voiceovers for a stereo mix. I know a lot of people don't do that and they use mono, but I seem to like it more this way. And then I boost up my volume just a bit. And then I just look for the spot where... Okay, so let's get right to it. Let's go into the effect. I begin to talk. Effects library. Then just make that a little bit smaller, and I'm going to drag that way back. And I know at the top layer, which is the black bars I did, I know that is where the tutorial part is actually beginning, so that's easy to get in. And then I am just going to look through the audio if something is happening in these pauses, actually. Sometimes nothing is happening and it's just wasted time. And if so, I am going to cut out those parts if it makes no sense. Okay, and I'm just going to look through that pretty fast. Okay, so here is a bit. First off, I'll go into the inspector and I'm going to make this black gray. I think that is fine. Transparent by hitting. Okay. And you know, this is basically what I do. I check if what I'm saying actually fits what is in the video, and if it doesn't, either I'll make it fit or I'm just going to cut it out. Background transparent by hitting. So here is particularly a spot I don't need. I think I'm saying something here I do not want. So I'm just going to cut out that pause here. We're starting by adding in a background note and connecting. Yeah. Let's hear that again. Makes sense to cut it like there. So I'm just going to remove that. I'm going to remove that, and I'm just going to drag this part in here and have a listen if that's what I want. So I'll continue doing this all the way through with the audio, finding the spots I don't want and removing them. But for this part of the video, let's speed this up in 80s style. So when I am happy with my edit, I'll have to find some music. I use music not in all of my videos, but I do use it in some of them. And some people like it and some people don't. But that's just the way it is. So when I've done the sound and stuff like that, I'll actually go to the net here, or the internet, and I'll find Soundstripe, which is the music service I use. It's a pretty good service, and it has a lot of great music. So what I very often will do is I'm going to add in another track here. So I have that for my music. Go into the internet again. And what I like to do is I like to just start to listen to some of the songs to see if there's something. And then I do turn up down the volume because it's quite high. And then I'll go in. You can search by a lot of different things here. I am searching by mood, and I want something that's chill. Okay, let's see what we have. And I just begin to listen to the music. And you know, you don't have to hear the whole tune. You can hear parts of the tune if you want. And then with that open, I'll go into the Resolve and I'll kind of hear how the music is sounding to the things I'm talking about. And if I like it, I'll just try to download it and see if I can mix that in. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's, might be good. Okay, let's hear another one. And actually, this part by finding the music can take a long time. So let's hear. So I just want to find something that hits the right feel. Something like that, maybe. You know, and then when I find it something I like, I'll just go down to, into Resolve again. I'll just play my dialogue and listen to the music a bit, if that's something I want. Okay, so let's get right to it. Let's go into the effects library and drag down a fusion composition. Maybe. And then, you know, I can skip forward in the song and listen to if there is something I want to use. And also, I'm listening for parts that can be edited out and can be extended and moved around, because I also tend to do that sometimes. So overall, I'm super happy with the service that Soundstripe gives me, and it's a very nice, and it's also a very useful team that's behind the Soundstripe, I think. You can always send them a mail or something if you have any questions. They're super nice. So there is all of these different playlists you can run through, and you can have a look at those as well. And I'll just start to find, again, some more tunes I might use. So anyway, if you are interested in getting Soundstripe, there's a link down in the description that will help you to start your subscription for that. And it is a pretty great subscription. And you will also have themes if you download different songs. Most of them do have themes, and what that means is that you can actually customize your sound to fit your project. So I use a lot of time finding the right song for the video or the music I want to use. I don't want the music to take too much attention. I just want it to be as a background sound. I seem to like this song, so let's just, before we actually license the song, we're going to download a preview. I'm just going to take this here. And then I am going to drag that into Resolve. Like so, and I'm going to turn down the volume quite a bit, and let's have a listen, if that's something I do like.
Video. It is so lovely to have you back here at the channel.
First I did. Yeah. I think I could totally use this track. Rename this to YouTube. Yeah. Sounds like something I want to use. So first off, we're going to delete the preview track, going back to Soundstripe and closing down the window here, because I don't want to have a watermark. I'm going to use the song, so I'm just going to, and this is how Soundstripe works. You're going to make a license for your video. So I'm just going to type in my project here, and with that, I'm just going to do a YouTube video, and I'm going to basically generate a license. And here we can download stems for the track. I'm also going to download the normal version, and then I'm just going to go into my folder. I'm going to drag down the normal version, and I always tend to keep the stems if I want to mix up my music a bit. So let's just have a look here.
Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back.
Turning down the volume quite a bit.
To yet another video. It is so lovely to have you back here at the channel. If you are new to this channel and want to learn
something like that,
making Davinci Resolve for tips and tricks, and have a look at.
Okay, so that's basically what I do with the music. So I'm not going to show you in this video how I'm going to use the stems, because then this video is going to be way too long. Or maybe I didn't use stems at all. If you want to know if I used the stems, you have to see the video I did. Okay, so here for the last part, as you see, I choose to do the Steam version. So now I have a lot of
Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another
music tracks, but that's okay. So what I tend to do here, as I start just to listen to my things here, and because we have so many layers with music, I am just going to right click on all of the layers selected, and I'm just going to do a new compound clip, and you can do that in the edit page, as you see right here. So I do this because I want to make my life a little bit easier when mixing the music. So that's fine. So, and then I'm just going to delete all of the empty tracks because I don't need them. And then I'll just head over to Fairlight. So now in Fairlight, I do have 3 audio tracks, and that's just way easier to handle for a project like this. So I'm just going to mute the music and the voiceover, and then I'm just listening to the intro here. And usually I'll go into my EQ, and I'm going to take on band 1, and then I'll turn that up to around 100, something like that. And then I'll go to band 6. I'm just going to boost that just quite a little bit, not very much. And then the Q factor on band 3, I'm going to turn that all the way up. And then, as you see, I can now listen for bad sounds. And when I find the bad sounds, I'm just going to drag the gain down. And I'll do the same for band 4. And I do know that around or in between K1 and 2K, there is always a bad sound I need to take off. So you can hear how that sounds without all of that. And then for the last thing, I just want to make my voice a little more bassy and take out some of the noise in that. I'm just going to raise up volume a little bit, going to drag down band 3 and 4. And then I'll just play around with band 5 until I have something I like.
So without further ado, let's get right to it.
So that's how that sounds. Then I'll go into the dynamics, and I'll put in a limiter and boost up the limit quite high, put in a compressor.
Here at the channel. If you are new to this channel,
And then I might turn up the volume just a little bit, like so. And most of the time, that's all I do.
Hello, Klaus here, and welcome
Okay.
back to yet another video. It is so lovely to have you back here at the channel.
Okay, then I'll go to my audio track 2, which is the voiceover track, and I'll do the same thing more or less. Go to band 1, diffusion composition, and put that to around 100. Then band 6, and giving that a little bit of a boost. Going to band 3, putting up the gain and the Q factor, finding the spot I don't like, dragging down the gain. Do the same for band 4, up with the Q factor. Again, find the spot I don't want around 1 and 2K. Dragging down and then boosting up the sound just a bit. And then play around with band 5 to find a spot where my voice sounds okay. Then I go to the dynamics and put in a limiter, like so, a compressor, and sometimes I'll put in a gate, but I don't think that's necessary right now. I'm just going to boost up a little bit. So I think that sounds more or less okay.
Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another video.
So then I'll do some small adjustments here. Then might take audio 2 a little bit down, and then I'll just go to the music part. I'll just listen to that. And then I'll just turn down the music until I think it sounds good.
About filmmaking, Davinci Resolve.
Again, I don't want the music to take too much focus, but I also think it needs to be there. So I'll open up the EQ, and I sometimes might drag down band 5 or
Graphics for your videos.
like something like that. Again, it's always nice just to listen to the things you're doing and playing around with the different things to find what you're looking for.
Let's head over to Fusion and let's get started. So here we have our media out node, and we're starting.
And then I'll take off the EQ, and you can hear the difference here.
I'm going to go into the inspector and make the background transparent by hitting up.
Okay.
And now we have a transparent background. I'll go into the media pool. I'm going to drag down a
Like that.
drag down a mouse cursor I did.
You know, and that's more or less what I do when I do my videos. Of course, then I just do an export, and well, that's for most of the videos that are going directly to YouTube. I just use the YouTube settings in Davinci Resolve. Anyway, I do hope you found this video useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, share it with your friends if you think it will help them out. And if you want to be notified every time there's a new video on this channel, please hit that bell icon down in the corner. Until next time, keep filming, keep learning, and keep sharing.